Nathan Caldwell's story began not on the rolling waves of the ocean but in the quiet, landlocked fields of Harwood, Iowa. Born in 1984 to Raymond and Margaret Caldwell, Nathan was the youngest of three siblings in a family where military service wasn't just a tradition, it was a calling. His father, a retired Army colonel with a steely gaze and an unyielding sense of duty, molded Nathan from childhood into a figure of discipline and purpose. With his father's piercing blue eyes and chiseled jaw, Nathan carried an air of command even as a boy, standing tall on the football field and dominating the classroom with a sharp mind. Teachers whispered about his potential, coaches praised his relentless drive. Yet, beneath the polished exterior, Nathan harbored a quiet fascination with the sea, a dream that set him apart from his father's Army legacy. By 2020, Nathan had risen to the rank of commander at Crescent Cove Naval Base, a sprawling facility on the rugged Pacific coast. At 36, he was a man at the pinnacle of his career, respected by subordinates and admired by superiors. But his personal life told a different story. His marriage to Claire, once a partnership of shared ambition, had frayed into a hollow facade. Publicly, they were the picture of a perfect military couple, Claire's poised smile complementing Nathan's crisp uniform. Behind closed doors, silence choked their home, broken only by the occasional clink of wine glasses or the hum of a television left on to fill the void. As Nathan stood on the edge of his late 30s, he was a man teetering between professional triumph and personal collapse, unaware that a single encounter would soon ignite a fire that would consume everything he'd built. Lily Harper's journey to Crescent Cove was as vibrant and eclectic as the young woman herself. Born in 1997 in the pulsating heart of Portland, Oregon, Lily was the only child of Ethan Harper, a brilliant software engineer, and Nora Harper, a free-spirited painter whose canvases burst with color. Caught between her father's world of logic and her mother's realm of imagination, Lily grew up as a bridge between opposites. She dazzled her teachers with her knack for calculus and captivated them with poetry that seemed to dance off the page. Summers were spent at coding boot camps, winters at art retreats in the Oregon wilderness, forging a mind that was as analytical as it was creative. Lily's teenage years burned with a restless hunger to see the world and leave her mark. She volunteered at homeless shelters, marched in climate protests, and at 18, took a gap year to teach English in rural Cambodia. The experience opened her eyes to the complexities of global issues, igniting a passion for diplomacy and international relations. At the University of Oregon, she majored in international studies with a minor in computer science, her diverse talents making her a campus standout. Known for mediating disputes in student groups, Lily had a gift for bringing people together, her warm smile and quick wit disarming even the most stubborn opponents. It was during her junior year that a guest lecture by a naval officer changed everything. The officer spoke of the Navy's humanitarian missions, delivering aid to disaster-stricken regions, building schools in war-torn countries. For Lily, it was a revelation, a way to blend her love for technology, her commitment to global good, and her desire to serve. Despite her mother's raised eyebrows, Nora's bohemian heart wary of the military, Lily applied for an internship at Crescent Cove Naval Base in her senior year. Her application, a tapestry of academic excellence and worldly experience, stood out like a beacon. When the acceptance letter arrived, Lily, at 25, packed her bags with a mix of excitement and nerves, ready to step into a world she barely understood. She could never have imagined that this decision would lead her to a man who would both awaken her heart and shatter her future. Their first meeting was fleeting, a moment that seemed insignificant in the grand sweep of their lives. It was June 2022, and Nathan Caldwell, tasked with welcoming the new interns at Crescent Cove, stood before a group of eager faces. His voice, steady and authoritative, carried the weight of years at sea. Among the nervous crowd, Lily Harper stood out, not just for her poised posture but for the spark in her hazel eyes, a quiet confidence that caught Nathan's attention. He lingered on her name during roll call, his gaze holding hers a fraction too long. For Lily, Nathan was an enigma, intimidating yet magnetic, his presence filling the room like a storm cloud on the horizon. She noted the way his officers deferred to him, the way his words commanded respect without cruelty. It was a quality she aspired to embody. Over the following weeks, their paths crossed often. Lily's role in a base-wide technology upgrade project meant frequent consultations with senior officers, including Nathan. Their early interactions were strictly professional, discussions about cybersecurity protocols, software integrations, and data encryption. But beneath the surface, something stirred. Nathan found himself drawn to Lily's fresh perspective, her questions forcing him to rethink long-held assumptions. For Lily, Nathan's strategic mind and weathered experience offered a window into a world she was eager to conquer. Their meetings, once routine, became something both anticipated with a quiet thrill. The turning point came on a humid August evening, during a late-night strategy session in Nathan's office. The rest of the team had drifted away, leaving just the two of them, surrounded by the hum of computers and the glow of screens. They were debating the ethics of artificial intelligence in military operations, a topic Lily approached with fiery conviction. Her voice rose as she argued for transparency, her hands gesturing with passion. Nathan, leaning back in his chair, felt a jolt he hadn't known in years. Her intellect, her energy, her unyielding belief in a better way, it awakened something in him, a hunger he thought had died with his youth. As the debate wound down, their conversation shifted. Nathan, usually guarded, spoke of the toll his career had taken, the sacrifices that had left his marriage a shadow of itself. He was careful, never mentioning Claire by name, but his vulnerability hung in the air. Lily, caught up in the moment, shared her own fears, of failing to live up to her dreams, of losing herself in a world that demanded conformity. The office grew still, the space between them charged with unspoken longing. When their hands brushed while reaching for a report, the touch was electric, a spark that stopped them both. Their eyes locked, the air heavy with possibility. Nathan broke the silence first, his voice rough. "Good night, Miss Harper." Lily nodded, her heart racing, and fled into the night. That moment marked the beginning of a dangerous dance. In the days that followed, their interactions changed. A glance held too long, a touch lingered on a shared document, a private joke whispered in a crowded room, their connection grew, a secret language only they understood. They sought excuses to work together, their professional collaboration a flimsy mask for the attraction pulling them closer. Both knew the risks, the Navy's strict rules against fraternization, the 20-year age gap, Nathan's marriage. Yet the current between them was unstoppable, a tide neither could resist. By October, the dam broke. A conference in Seattle offered the perfect cover, a chance to escape the watchful eyes of Crescent Cove. In the dim light of a boutique hotel, they gave in to the desire that had simmered for months. What began as a physical spark quickly deepened into something more. For Nathan, trapped in a loveless marriage and weighed down by duty, Lily was a lifeline, her optimism and vitality rekindling parts of him he thought lost forever. For Lily, Nathan was a revelation, a man of depth and wisdom, his intensity both thrilling and grounding. Their stolen moments became sacred, late-night dinners in hidden restaurants, weekend work trips that were anything but. They developed a code of subtle gestures and coded phrases, a way to speak their hearts in public without a word. But love, even in its brightest moments, cast a long shadow. The secrecy of their affair demanded lies upon lies. Nathan grew paranoid, every glance from a colleague a potential threat. He checked his phone obsessively, his temper flaring at the slightest delay in Lily's responses. Lily, once so sure of herself, began to wrestle with guilt. She was the other woman, a role that clashed with her ideals. She withdrew from friends, unable to share the truth of her turmoil. The weight of their double life pressed down, and as autumn faded into winter, cracks began to form. Nathan's paranoia spiraled. He scrutinized his staff's behavior, reading betrayal in every casual comment. A mention of Lily's name in a meeting sent his pulse racing, certain their secret was exposed. He arrived at work before dawn, left after midnight, partly to see Lily, partly to monitor the base's pulse. At home, his distance from Claire grew cavernous. He avoided her questions, snapped at her attempts to connect. Claire sensed the change but blamed his job, unaware of the storm brewing within him. Lily, too, felt the strain. Nathan's intensity, once flattering, became suffocating. He texted her constantly, demanded to know her every move. When a junior officer joked about office romances, Nathan's outburst, sharp and unhinged, shocked the room. Lily watched, her heart sinking, as the man she loved unraveled. She began to pull away, making excuses to avoid him, limiting their contact to work necessities. Nathan, sensing her distance, grew desperate. His mind spun with fears of losing her, of her exposing their affair, of his career crumbling. On February 15, 2023, the tension reached its breaking point. Lily had dodged Nathan for weeks, but a mandatory progress meeting forced them together in his office. The air was thick with unspoken words. Nathan began with forced professionalism, asking about project updates, his voice tight. Lily answered curtly, eager to escape. As the meeting ended, Nathan's mask slipped. "Why are you avoiding me?" he demanded, his voice low and raw. Lily, caught off guard, tried to deflect, citing work stress. But Nathan's paranoia erupted. He accused her of planning to betray him, his words sharp with desperation. Lily, frightened by his intensity, moved to leave. Nathan grabbed her arm, pleading. "Have you told anyone?" he hissed. She pulled away, heading for the door. In a blind panic, Nathan stepped to block her. What happened next was a blur, a moment that would haunt him forever. As Lily tried to slip past, Nathan reached out, his hand pushing harder than he meant. Lily stumbled, her balance lost. Time slowed as she fell, her head striking the corner of Nathan's oak desk with a sickening crack. She crumpled to the floor, motionless. Nathan stood frozen, the world narrowing to the thin trickle of blood pooling beneath her. He called her name, shook her gently, but Lily didn't stir. His hands trembled as he checked for a pulse, nothing. Instinct kicked in, his naval training guiding him through futile CPR. But it was over. Lily Harper, the woman who had brought light to his shadowed life, was gone. And in that moment, Nathan Caldwell made a choice that would damn him. Instead of calling for help, he turned to self-preservation. With a chilling calm, he formulated a plan. Waiting until night, he used his security clearance to navigate the base's empty corridors, carrying Lily's body, wrapped in a tarp, to his car. He drove to a decommissioned bunker, a forgotten corner of the base slated for demolition. There, in the damp, cold darkness, he hid her, knowing it could be weeks before anyone looked. Back in his office, Nathan erased every trace. He replaced the bloodied carpet, scrubbed every surface, rearranged furniture to hide scuffs. Using his knowledge of the base's security systems, he deleted footage of Lily entering his office. From her phone, he sent messages to her family and friends, crafting a story of an impromptu trip, a lie rooted in her adventurous past. Later, he drove to the coast and hurled her phone into the Pacific, watching it vanish beneath the waves. In the days that followed, Nathan played the part of a concerned commander. He asked about Lily's absence, feigned worry when she didn't return. He even led the initial inquiry, steering it away from himself. But the strain was unbearable. He drank to dull the guilt, his temper fraying, his once sharp focus unraveling. Colleagues noticed his haggard appearance, the dark circles under his eyes, the way he flinched at every knock. The facade couldn't hold. 2 weeks after Lily's disappearance, her parents, frantic, filed a missing persons report. Detective Sarah Thornton, a sharp-eyed investigator with the Crescent Cove Police, took the case. Known for her tenacity, Sarah sensed something amiss from the start. Teaming with NCIS, she dug into Lily's life, interviewing colleagues, tracing her movements. Nathan's name surfaced repeatedly, not as a suspect, but as a figure whose behavior raised questions. Sarah's instincts zeroed in on him. His alibi was shaky, his story inconsistent. Witnesses recalled raised voices from his office on February 15, contradicting his claim that Lily left early. His agitation during questioning, his defensive answers, they painted a picture of a man with something to hide. Then came the breakthrough. A sweep of the base's old bunkers uncovered Lily's body. The discovery turned the case into a homicide investigation, and all eyes turned to Nathan Caldwell. Forensic evidence piled up. Recovered security footage fragments showed Lily entering Nathan's office but never leaving. A janitor recalled seeing a figure matching Nathan's build carrying a tarp-wrapped bundle that night. Trace evidence in his car sealed the case. During a grueling interrogation, Nathan's composure shattered. Tears streaming, he confessed, the affair, the argument, the accidental push, the cover-up. The room fell silent as the weight of his words sank in. The trial gripped the nation. Nathan Caldwell, once a naval hero, was convicted of manslaughter, obstruction of justice, and evidence tampering. Sentenced to 20 years, he sat hollow-eyed as the gavel fell, his career, marriage, and reputation in ruins. Crescent Cove reeled, grappling with betrayal and loss. Lily Harper's death became a haunting cautionary tale, a story of passion and paranoia, of a single moment that destroyed 2 lives and left a community forever changed.